Line of Duty is a television masterpiece with an x27. Rogue and x27. Stephen Graham, News Corp is a network of leading companies in the worlds of diversified media, news, education, and information services. There are lots of other new faces in the new series of Line of Duty, including a gang of bikers, with no bikes, writes Ally Ross. Sunday night, BBC One, the AC-12 team's back. A heavily armed, so any minute now. The calling card of which, to widespread annoyance, the BBC has advertised these past few weeks as coming from the makers of Bodyguard. It didn't. Came from the off. Line of Duty is a television masterpiece, and the opening episode of the 5th series was a genuine TV event that, despite a whiff of plot familiarity, had me reeled in before the end of the opening credits. That was as long as it took the show to introduce Stephen Graham, who's giving a mesmerizing performance as Detective Sergeant John Corbett, the UCO undercover officer who appears to have gone rogue with an OCG organized crime gang. A hell of a trick for a TV show to pull off, introducing them all while still tying up the loose ends of Series 4. There are lots of other new faces as well, including a gang of bikers, with no bikes, who appear to have been styled by Vivian from The Young Ones. Slippery police spokesman Sindhwani, played by Ace Bhatti. PC Jane Kapp, and the slightly robotic detective superintendent Alison Powell, who's in charge of Corbett's Operation Payretry and is yet another of those department chiefs who seems strangely drawn to Ted Hastings. A hell of a trick for a TV show to pull off, introducing them all while still tying up the loose ends of Series 4 and leaving viewers to guess which painkillers managed to get DS Arnott out of that wheelchair and whether Hastings' faulty hotel toilet cistern is critical to the new plot. Or just a faulty. The fact Line of Duty did it, however, is entirely down to the constants that have driven this show ever since its first series. It starts, obviously, with a thrilling and complex script from Jed Mercurio, who clearly gives not a stuff for any of the lazy, modern, write-on conventions of TV writing. Together, show and actor are a dream to watch and should be the agenda-free blueprint every new drama aims to emulate. It's all about the story that demands the total attention of the viewers and gets the performance of their lives from the actors. Not just the newcomers, like Stephen Graham, but regulars and, as Arnott and Fleming, who have the hardest job in drama, unraveling the plot for the audience. Without them, there would be no room for the show's crowning glory, Superintendent Ted Hastings, who is that rarest thing in contemporary TV drama, a strong male lead. There used to be lots of them, obviously. Now, we're general. The joy of Hastings is that the part gets the performance it deserves from Adrian Dunbar, who's from Northern Ireland, so he was born sardonic and can give a whole new edge to lines like "Listen Alison, I didn't float up." Together, show and actor are a dream to watch and should be the agenda-free blueprint every new drama aims to emulate. So enjoy Hastings and Line of Duty while you can. Nothing this good is the return of Line of Duty. ITV4 screen. Read Blue Planet Live, Steve Backshall concluding his last report with Steve B, signing out. Suggest Steve B, signing on. BBC One's This Time With finished a bitterly disappointing run last night, having lost about half its viewers along the way. And it's not hard to see why, either. The funniest thing about the show was its reputation. The jokes were near, but then, how the hell can you get excited about Jenny Gresham accusing Alan Partridge of fancying her when, on The Real Thing, described as an HR claim waiting to happen, after she asked, "Is Phil and Holly like this?" And he replied, "It's like this, only without the sex." Out loud. Live on air. Tipping point. Ben Shepherd. The meat from which bird is traditionally included in the Scottish soup called cockaliki? Liam Lamb. The chase. Bradley Walsh. What Birmingham football team has been English champions 7 times? Katie Coventry. Celebrity chase. Bradley Walsh. A Trump pekin is what vegetable carved into resembling Donald Trump? Christian O'Connell. Turnip. Bradley Walsh. What Himalayan mountain is often described as the world's highest garbage dump? Christian O'Connell. The Andes. Luge World Cup. Eurosports. Colin Bryce. Oscars Gudramovics and Peteris Kalnins spank it hard at the top of the hill. But will that slow them? Was one of those breathtaking BBC ventures where they fly a group of presenters to 3 fantastically far-flung corners of the world and then spend 4 nights lecturing the rest of us about the evils of global warming. An irony completely lost on the hosts themselves, who were all having far too much fun in the sun to bother about their own carbon footprint. Liz Bonin was oohing and ahhing over turtle hatchlings on Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Bull sharks were stubbornly refusing to eat Steve Backshall, who was squeaking away at BBC One viewers from the Bahamas. And Chris Packham was chasing shadows in a helicopter above Mexico's Sea of Cortez, having been told there's a 99% chance of seeing a blue whale. Nice work if you can get it. On a purely technical level, though, it was going okay until the second night, when the Mexican satellite link packed in and we were suddenly flitting haphazardly between a weirdo who collects whale snot and Costas the Mediterranean monk seal, before Chris Packham reappeared at the death with a question-begging update. Unfortunately, we haven't found a blue whale. But we did record, since Dr. Legg died of pancreatic cancer and Jean was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer, Evie's been gang raped, Ross and Matt have been put on trial for raping Ruby and, just to lighten the mood, Patrick's decided to reopen the hair salon vacated by Dino, the rapist. EastEnders. It's here for a long, UDG's uttering not one word of even mild criticism over an entire hour and 3/4 semi-final. Sally Lindsay's bake-off suffragette cake putting in a strong claim for the emptiest political gesture of all time. Anyone who thinks Judge Jerry Spice Girl asking what's middle-aged? You in about 2th, and BBC 2's New World Order guests Sarah Pascoe, Lucy Preble, and Kiri Pritchard McLean all doubled up laughing at Frankie Boyle's observation, it's only Michael Gove's glasses that stop his face looking like genitalia. For those of you struggling to place their names, they'd be just 3 of the people who'd be screaming for blood if anyone said the same thing about Diane Abbott and claiming only female politicians get judged on their appearance. This morning, Wednesday, Schofield is scheduling sex helpful or harmful. At 10:45, harmful. No matter what time. This morning, Philip Schofield, are you sure people aren't ready for an Alan Titchmarsh album? Very. Blue Planet Live, Steve Backshall, I don't want to step on a shark, that would be a bad start. And Piers Morgan, if I go into a petrol station, I go for mini cheddars or hula hoops. See also donuts, sausage muffin, a breakfast bap, Cornish pasty, a couple of magnums, 2 steak melts, 4 hot dog croissants, a cinnamon whirl or 3, the Wild Bean Cafe meal deal and some crisps. No petrol. Jermaine Jenas Brighton are going to have to not show something we haven't seen yet. Jack Sullivan, you either sink or swim, and have done a bit of both. And Neil Warnock, the equalizer was the winning goal. This week's winner is James Arthur and Dexter, from Dexter's Laboratory. Sent in by Reini E, via email. Picture research, Alfie Snelling. Our journalists strive for accuracy, but on occasion we make mistakes. For further details.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.